All right, welcome to Geared Up. It's a special edition. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
All this week on the show, we are going to be talking about our favorite stuff of the year so far. 2017, all of the gadgets that really resonated with Andrew and me so far this year.
It's the midway point of the year. It's a good time to do this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we've got lots coming up, including phones, game controllers. I'm going to go outside the bounds a little bit and share a couple of my services, my favorite services.
Favorite tech-related things that may not be a gadget.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But for the most part, we're going to be talking here about hardware. And I want to start with something that's right here on the table in front of you, Andrew, and that is Circle.
That's from my list. Yeah, Circle.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one from your list that I'm intensely interested in because I'm a parent. I have a kid, like a lot of folks out there, and I actually don't know a lot about Circle. So why don't you explain it to folks who have never heard of it?
All right. Well, Circle is a product by Disney, and it helps you manage what your kids do online, manage what they can look at online, and also see what they've been up to. So it's something that you connect to your home network. It's a physical device you connect to your home network, and it has a smartphone app. And in the app, you can let it know all the devices that your family uses. So let's just say you have two kids. One is 6 and one is 13, for example. So you have your device, you have the device of your spouse, let's say, and you have your devices of your kids. And everybody may have more than one device, maybe a tablet, a smartphone, etc. So in Circle, once you're setting it up, you can go in and say, okay, this child is 5 years old, and Circle, using specific filters, will say, okay, for a 5-year-old, this is what's appropriate for them to look at. And then for the 13-year-old, you give their age. And I'll say, okay, for a 13-year-old, they can see more than a 5-year-old. And so we'll kind of open that up, open up more the internet to the 13-year-old and the 5-year-old.
So is this a device or a service?
Device.
So can you take it out of there?
Both. It's both. You didn't let me get to it yet.
All right, keep going, Andrew.
So this is Circle right here, actually. I'll take it out of the box.
So it looks like a tiny little Wi-Fi router or something.
So it connects by micro USB. That's where it gets its power, and then it then filters things for the internet. But it does more than that. So it'll also give you reports. So at the end of the week or whatever, you can check in and say, show me what my kid's been looking at online. You have a report, all the websites, how much time they spend on each website, just for your knowledge. You can also do things like set schedules where, for example, for the 6-year-old or the 5-year-old, you don't want their devices connecting to the internet after, let's just say, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. is bedtime, so there's no reason for you to be online at 9 p.m. So just in case you're tempted to crawl out of bed and grab your iPad, it's not going to work. Same thing for anybody else. You can set schedules. You can also pause the internet for someone. So let's just say a kid gets in trouble and you don't want them online for a full week. You can go into Circle and say, okay, none of the devices can connect to the internet for a week.
So in other words, what you're saying, Andrew, is this has built-in grounding.
Built-in grounding, right there. Because what in this day and age, 2017, what is worse for a child than not being able to get on the internet?
Grounded
They want to get
from
on YouTube.
online.
They want to see all that stuff. Snapchat. And also, it's not just for kids. If you're trying to get everybody to the table and they're all doing their own thing on Thanksgiving, just pause the internet for everybody. So just internet pause, done. No one can do anything.
So this costs what, $90?
$99 for Circle,
okay.
one-time price. But they also have an add-on service. It's called Circle Go. So the thing with these home network management tools is that they only work on your home network. So if your kid takes their, let's just say, iPhone to school, well, none of the Circle isn't at school, so they can do whatever they want to do until they get back home. But if you buy the Circle Go service, which is $10 a month, it will install a VPN profile on the phone, and then you can manage what that phone or tablet can do, iOS or Android, no matter what network it's on, whether it's on Wi-Fi or whether it's on a cellular network. All those same Circle settings from home will now travel with those devices.
Gotcha. But otherwise, this just operates on your home network.
On your home network, $99 one-time fee.
One-time fee, no service for that.
No service.
No service fee
Correct.
for that. Just something that you can do. Wow.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool. Like, it's something unique and different because a lot of, parents these days, especially we're going into summer vacation, kids are going to be home. It's hard to really know what your kids are up to online, and this kind of gives you a level of peace of mind. Again, it's by Disney, so there's it's a brand name that people trust. Obviously, Disney's been around, and also Disney, no matter what you think about them, they are probably somewhat or a company who recognizes what's safe for kids.
So is it going to be filtering the internet as well?
It will filter the internet. So you tell them the age of the kids. So this kid is 6. It will do filtering for 6-year-old age appropriate versus 13-year-old age appropriate versus 17-year-old age appropriate.
Does it even go into the app? Because like one thing that I struggle with, my daughter's 6, and there are some shows on YouTube that I'm comfortable with her watching, but it's very easy for her to get away from those shows. If you're not like sitting there looking over her shoulder, which I recognize in an ideal world I would be, but it's hard to do. So will this go into YouTube and filter out the content that way?
I think it. I don't know if so. The thing with video, is it does. Circle doesn't know. It's almost like taking a picture of Braille.
Right.
Like you can take a picture of Braille, but you can't give that picture to someone who's blind and have them read it. So it can work based on the words on the page. So if the title and the tags and the description lead it to believe that it's not something the kid should watch, that's a different story than, if they just, if
the
they
content
put like my birthday
video.
party. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. So that's Circle. It's about $100.
$100. Circle by Disney.
And wow. Okay. So this, I can see why this would be on your list of one of the coolest gadgets so far this year.
Yes.
All right. Let's keep going down your list. That's what we're doing on Geared Up this week. We are running down our favorite devices of the year so far.
We're going to keep going down my list. We're not going back and forth. We're going to keep going down
we
my
can talk
list.
about mine, but I know I've been somewhat derided for my next pick. So but let's go with it. Let's go with mine. I really like the concept of the Amazon Dash Wand with Alexa.
You didn't say concept earlier. You said you liked the Dash Wand as one of your favorite tech items of the year, so, and it's been out for a week.
Yeah, I like it in part because, and I have not had a chance to use this at home yet. I've just used it in the office.
What?
I've used it in the office, but pretty extensively in the office. And the whole idea with this is it's about the size of a remote control.
Yep.
It's the smallest device yet to have Amazon's Alexa built in.
Fully, right?
Fully built,
full Alexa.
Except for you can't do music. That's the one thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the main thing is you're able to use your voice to reorder or order groceries. It has a barcode scanner. It also will call up recipes. So they have a partnership with All Recipes, which is a Seattle startup.
So it calls up a recipe and does what?
So
reads it to you?
Yeah. So we can do this. We can do this right here.
Let's do it right now.
Give me a recipe for poached eggs.
Welcome to All Recipes. Searching for poached eggs. I've found 74 results. My recommendation is poached eggs caprese recipe. It has 4.5 out of 5 stars with dozens of reviews and takes 20 minutes. Would you like to hear the recipe details?
Yes.
Here you go, guys.
The description reads, a delicious dish inspired by eggs Benedict with mozzarella, tomatoes.
Ingredients.
The main ingredients you need are white vinegar, eggs, English muffin split.
So that gives you a sense for what the Amazon Dash Wand with Alexa can do. I mean, that's a tiny little device.
Like it's like, are you having to remember everything? Or
yeah. So what I would do is I would order the items that I need based on that. I don't think I would necessarily cook with that. And
so I need a recipe. Here are the ingredients. Order those.
Yes,
and it'll get. Wow. Okay, that's cool.
So that's the Dash Wand with Alexa, and it's got the barcode scanner like the previous Dash Wand.
Now, what have you done with it? Have you ordered anything with it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, have you seen the GeekWire cabinets? I've ordered popcorn. I've ordered Kind bars. I've ordered a lot of Diet Pepsi, which I've been teased about around the office. I basically have been ordering all the things that I like as opposed to the things that everybody else likes. So yeah, I mean,
let me see this.
So the one catch is if you do it with the barcode, it puts it into your shopping cart. If you order food via voice, it just buys it. Because it's actually asking you to confirm you want to order this versus just saying, oh, I'm scanning the barcode. So,
and is this a device that orders from Amazon or from Amazon Fresh, or can you determine which one?
I believe it's just Amazon for now. Although I think you might be able to hook it in somehow to Amazon Fresh. I need to do some research on that.
Okay.
But the primary function is with Amazon.
And $20, right?
$20, and then it's refunded in the form of a credit. Once you register it for the first time. So you'll get the $20 back.
I ordered one like 10 days ago, and it's like, we don't know when we can ship one.
Oh,
Like that's how
so
popular
wait, you're
they
making
are.
fun of this, and you actually ordered one for
I'm not
yourself?
making fun of it. I'm making fun of you for saying it's one of your favorite things of the year when you've used it one time.
Well,
That's what
I've used it
making fun
many
of.
times. As people on the radio show will know. Some folks will think that demo that I just did is a repeat of the last couple times.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, I love this gadget in part because it's got Alexa built in. I like the concept of
So
it.
you're an Alexa fan.
Whoa.
Whoa. No, you didn't like Siri or Alexa or Bixby or whoever the other one was as of 5 months ago. Google Home.
No, Siri is just a pain in the butt.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sorry. Siri
This
doesn't give
guy.
me anything I need. But once, you can actually ask Alexa. And so the other thing you can do here is, how's the weather?
Right now in Seattle, it's 62 degrees with cloudy skies.
See? So, I mean, there's
Okay.
lots of stuff.
That's cool.
Who won the Mariners game?
Currently, the Mariners are behind the Phillies, 3-1 at the bottom of the fourth.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, but we all have these in our phones that are with us all the time. You got to go
True.
find this in the
That's
drawer
true.
somewhere.
All right. Okay. All right. We are running down our favorite gadgets, no matter what Andrew thinks of them this week on Geared Up. We'll be right back with more on GeekWire on Kyber Radio 97.3 FM. We'll be right back with more after a break. All right, welcome back to Geared Up on GeekWire. We are counting down our favorite gadgets of 2017 so far. It's the middle of the year.
Middle of the year.
Todd Bishop here with Andrew Edwards. Andrew, we just got done talking about the Disney Circle.
Yep.
And also my favorite device of the year so far, which I'm getting teased for, the Amazon Dash Wand with Alexa.
Right.
And,
right.
But let's jump in. Let's talk about the smartphones because
Yeah.
there's been some really interesting trends across these devices. The Galaxy S8 is probably the the biggest example of this.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
far.
Galaxy S8 is the Galaxy S8 is the biggest example. So for me, it's not just about the S8 though. It's the trend. It's what we're seeing, where we're seeing smartphones going, and it's happening here in 2017. This is the year that we're seeing this big shift in smartphone hardware. So here I have the Galaxy S8 just as the example, and as you can see, like we've talked about this one before, the bezels on here are super small. So you've got a small bezel on the bottom, a small bezel on top, and on the sides, it's pretty much the bezel is non-existent. So you get more in your hand, you get more reachability with your thumb, which is what kind of disappeared for a couple of years because these phones were getting bigger, but they were getting wider, and so it was harder to reach. Now they're getting thinner and taller, so you can see more stuff on screen, more on lists, web pages, etc., emails, but it's easier to hold in your hand. And so Samsung's done it with the S8. LG's done it with the LG G6. We're seeing it from a lot of other Android makers as well. The rumor is Google's going to do it with the Pixel 2. And, of course, Apple with the iPhone 8 will be doing something similar as well.
So is this just kind of a tweak to what we're seeing here, or does this enable new scenarios? Like I'm thinking augmented reality. When you have a really thin bezel, it really turns the phone into much more of an augmented reality device,
It
right?
does. It does. I mean, in a way, yes. Like, first and foremost, though, we're not going to be doing AR all the time. But just to be able to hold your phone in one hand and control it with one thumb, going back to that, it's usability. It makes it easier to use. And you're able to see more on the screen, as I said. So since it's a longer screen, it's 18 by 9 instead of 16 by 9. You can see more of an email. More if you're looking at Twitter, you can see more tweets on one screen. There's less scrolling you have to do to use your phone. But yeah, when you talk about AR, with the disappearance of the bezel, the phone almost melts away. So if you're holding up a phone, and you have the camera open, it's almost like the phone just becomes a clear piece of glass, and you're looking through this clear piece of glass that can lay stuff on top of the real world. And that's another thing that is going to be huge here this year. Apple announced it at WWDC. They have their ARKit. Developers are already working on some cool stuff for both things like their smartphone and for tablets. So yeah, the smartphone in 2017 is making a huge shift in both usability and for future technology like AR.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal to me.
Yeah, and of course, you've also got all of the interesting Skyview apps, for example, that are going to be really interesting with the full solar eclipse coming up.
Oh, right.
So, I mean,
Yes.
that's where something like that to me
Exactly.
is one of the most fundamental applications of that kind of AR, where you can basically hold the phone up to the sky and figure out what planets are what. And so
Yes.
I think that's probably going to be really popular come August.
That is cool. And on the flip side of that, with AR in the future, you'll be able to hold your phone or tablet up to the sky and create a solar eclipse in your phone that isn't happening in real life and see the effect of it.
Right.
Yes. I mean, it's awesome.
Okay, so good. So that whole trend in the phones, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about how that could play out in the iPhone 8 later on in the show.
That's right.
Okay, speaking of phones, this is where I'm going to bend the rules a little bit. I realize we're primarily talking about hardware.
Tech.
But I have to say, I was able to essentially create a virtual phone for myself with T-Mobile's Digits service.
That's what it's for. That's what it's meant for, right?
Exactly right. This is essentially the portable number service. You can essentially install an app on your existing phone that gives you a second number.
Right.
Or you can make that number portable. So you can then take your existing number and have it work across a variety of different devices. The primary way I'm using this.
I got to hear it. Let
Yes.
me know.
So publicly, I am now using T-Mobile's Digits number, my second line, as my main line. So on the website, I'm going to put this on my business cards.
Okay.
And I even put this into some public relations databases that I know I'm in already. I replaced my existing number that I use with my family and friends with more of a public number. And so now when somebody calls in on that number, I know that they've gotten it not directly from me, but from one of these services. And I know it's probably a spam call.
But it's on your business card. They're getting it from you if it's on your business card.
I have not yet put it on my business card yet. So maybe that is a flaw in my logic there. That said, I can control who gets this number, and I can control who gets my own personal number, and I can divide them up. And I know when they're calling in that it's probably not a call I need to pick up.
Right.
So it's a way of diverting. It's almost like a little spam filter.
How reliable is the Digit stuff? So for example, if I were to call you or text you so basically what I'm asking is, have you ever received a text or call on Digits that you didn't realize until later when you're like, oh, why didn't it ring through? Or does it just work perfectly?
Not yet. No, it's worked very well. The only minor glitches I've noticed are, for example, when you set your voicemail, it's syncing it with the cloud through the app. And so it takes a moment. It takes like a few more moments than it normally would to reset the voicemail to what you'd want it to be, so you can re-record it if you screwed up.
Not a big deal.
No, so it's little stuff like that. But for the most part, I like it, and it's essentially a service that allows you to create a virtual phone number that you can take with you or do different things with. All right, in terms of the pure phenomenon and novelty, let's talk about my next favorite gadget, and that is the Snap Spectacles.
This is another one that you haven't used too much.
I've used
but it's one of your favorites of the half year.
It's one of my favorites of the half year. I'm putting them on right now.
Okay, you look cool.
They look cool, number one. Yes. They look a little Paul Schaefer-esque. And I just love the concept of this being something of, essentially a social tool that you can use out at a party.
Yep.
I've seen people do really interesting things online to basically show what they've taken with their Snap Spectacles. I like the phenomenon of how this has been rolled out through the vending machines.
Right. Now it's finally available online. But that initial thing was, it was word of mouth. It was getting people excited to be included in something.
So do you use your Snap Spectacles all the time?
Well, I don't know if I would say I use them all the time, but I definitely use them if I'm going somewhere where I think it'll be cool to use them. So like if I'm going to be at an event or something where I know like capturing stuff will be interesting to my viewers, I'll definitely still bring them. So they're not like just sitting in a drawer somewhere at this point. I think they're great.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a little bit of a taste of our favorite gadgets of the year so far. All right. So given that, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about what our most anticipated technologies and gadgets are coming up for the remainder of 2017.
Second half of the year, yes.
Absolutely. You're listening to Geared Up, and we'll be right back. Done talking about some of our favorite gadgets from the first part of the year, the first half of the year.
That's right.
Andrew, let's now look ahead, because really when you look at the holiday season, that's when things really start to come out.
In this industry, it gets crazy. Holiday season, my favorite.
So what are your top things to watch, the top gadgets that you're expecting and that people should be thinking about in the next half of the year?
Well, the one that I'm probably most excited about, I didn't even put this on the list, Claire, is the iMac Pro.
The iMac Pro.
You remember this?
By the way, Claire McGrain puts together the show every week.
Yes, she does.
Shout out to
Big
Claire
shout
over
out
there
to Claire.
behind the scenes.
And Brian Westbrook.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you remember the iMac Pro? They announced it at WWDC. It's going to be $5,000 to start. It's the starting price. And the rumor is the top end is going to be like $13,000.
So which are you going for, the 5
Probably
or the
the lower end. Probably the lower end. But being able to, because I edit a lot of 4K video. I have to do a lot of heavy lifting as far as what a computer can do. And so something that can connect at 10 gigabits to my home network. I'm actually rewiring my whole house for 10 gigabit. And I'm going to have 2 gigabit internet service, up and down.
Wow.
And I'm going to have all this power from the iMac Pro.
2 gigabit symmetrical
2 gigabit
internet.
symmetrical.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
And guess who that's from?
Frontier?
Comcast, believe it or not.
What?
Comcast.
How'd you do that?
Comcast has a new thing called Gigabit Pro.
Okay.
And it's synchronous, symmetrical, 2,000 megabits up and down.
Okay.
No data cap.
Wow. Okay.
What's up?
So you're going to be using that with your iMac Pro.
With the iMac Pro, which has a 10 gigabit Ethernet port on it, which is pretty rare still, because usually it's 1 gigabit Ethernet port on devices these days. So to have 10 gigabit, it's just going to be insane.
I just imagine your house just like
glowing,
picking up and lifting off like a rocket,
like the Apple Campus, like the new Apple Campus, just taking off.
It's like powered by gigabit.
Yes, I'm very excited. So that's my thing, but that's probably not that's not a mainstream thing though.
Right,
that's not a mainstream
very high end.
Yes.
So as long as we're talking about Apple, one of mine is the iPhone 8. So
iPhone 8.
I've been on the iPhone 6s Plus now for about a year.
Okay.
I'm eligible for an upgrade to the iPhone 7 on Jump, but I'm actually just going to sort of
waiting it out.
I'm going to wait it out. Let my bill go down for pay it off.
Nothing wrong with that.
Wait for the iPhone 8. Are you sure? Are you making fun of me again?
No, not at all. Okay. Not at all. I was actually going to ask you, when did you start with iPhone? Because if people don't know, it's actually, we just passed the 10th anniversary of the release of the very first iPhone. Did you start with that one?
No.
Really?
I remember, I think I was about a year or 2 years in before I actually got an iPhone.
What were you using? Like a Palm Trio?
No, I was using I did have a Palm Trio for a while. I was using one of those LG flip-up messenger phones.
A Sidekick?
No, it was not a Sidekick. It was sort of a Sidekick knockoff.
Okay.
It was not as good as a Sidekick.
The business Sidekick.
Yeah.
The businessman Sidekick.
It was like flip it up. I couldn't actually do email, but I could text really well because I had a full QWERTY keyboard.
Right.
So one of those.
Wow, interesting. I just assumed you were like iPhone from day one.
No.
Never. You're never anything. You're nothing from day one.
I'm the everyman over here, Andrew. I'm not getting a 4K iMac with 10 gigabit symmetrical internet.
It's 5K.
5K, whatever. I'm here representing the average person who can't really, afford all these things.
I got you.
Unlike, Mr. Moneybags over there.
I mean, luckily I get review units sent in.
Yes.
But okay, no, the iPhone 8 though, I mean, this is going to be a dramatic shift as well. We talked earlier about what Samsung did and what LG did. Coming this year, aside from the iPhone 8, is also the Essential phone from Andy Rubin's new company, Essential. And it's all the same. We're seeing these bezel-less devices. So obviously Apple hasn't announced anything yet. But once the leaks start happening, especially this part of the year where we're 2 or 3 months out from the announcement, we pretty much know what we're going to see. We pretty much know what we're going to expect due to all the part leaks that come out of China. And so we're going to see this iPhone that I think when you put it next to like a Galaxy S8, it makes a Galaxy S8 as great as it looks today, like look old.
Yeah.
Apple is going for a completely bezel-less look, including the top and bottom, where Samsung has no bezels on the sides, but they still have them on the top and bottom. So Apple will just have a small cutout at the top of the display for the camera, but everything else is just going to be screen, which is, we've never seen anything like that before. So it's going to be very impressive.
And then again, you have to ask yourself, like, when does the Apple augmented reality stuff truly come out? They showed some demos on iOS 11 and the ability for developers to essentially place objects on the real world. It's going to change things like how you do Pokemon Go. But like, when's the true vision for augmented reality going to come out from Apple? And it would seem to imply with the iPhone 8, without the bezels, that's when you're going to start to see it.
Absolutely. So any device that runs iOS 11 will be able to take part in AR stuff, and developers are already working on it. We've seen, if you actually go to YouTube and just search for ARKit, you'll see what developers are already working on, and it already looks amazing. You can use it with iPads, which gives you a bigger screen, which gives you kind of a different, feel for it. But yeah, I think once the iPhone 8 is released, which will be 3 days after iOS 11 is released, because it's always been that way every year. So they'll release iOS 11, 3 days later, the new iPhone will come out. And so kind of in conjunction right there, which will happen in September, you're going to see day one, a whole bunch of these AR apps are going to be available. And I think it's going to be, it's going to be one of those things that's mind-blowing, at least for the first couple of, months. Something brand new we've never been able to do before.
Okay, so that's the iPhone 8 coming out.
iPhone 8.
All right, and so what else are you anticipating for the upcoming year?
The other thing I'm anticipating is the new Xbox One X.
Yes.
Just got announced at E3 a few weeks ago.
A supercomputer in a game console.
Basically. Yeah, I mean, come on. We're going to get true 4K gaming. We're going to get Dolby Atmos sound. 6 teraflops of power.
For just $500.
For $500. And
compared to $5,000 for the iMac Pro.
That's right. You can get 10 of those. You can get 10 of these. So I'm very excited about that one because I'm a gamer at heart.
That's how you sort of got into all this, if I remember correctly.
Gaming? No, not necessarily. I mean, I've always just loved just tech, just gadgets in general. But I have always been a gamer as far as back as I can remember. And seeing the power that Microsoft is putting into this console and the fact that it's coming in just a few months, coming out in November, I'm super excited about that. That's going to be a day one purchase for me. But speaking of the Xbox One X, first of all, are you buying one?
Yeah, I probably we've went through all this. I actually no, I'm gonna be getting the Xbox One S.
Oh, see, you have my eyebrows raised from. I was like, you're buying one?
No, the Xbox One S.
Okay. Well, let me show you something right here. So at E3,
which is the cheaper current version of
right,
it.
Right. But it's still great.
Better than my current Xbox 360.
That's right. This is these. I have some controllers I wanted to show you from the Xbox Design Lab.
Yeah.
If you don't know what this is, you can actually go online now and use their Design Lab online to design your own Xbox One controller, and you can design like pretty much every aspect: the back, the bumpers, the triggers, the control sticks, everything. And you can choose your colors. You can engrave it with your gamer tag or anything else you want to engrave it with, the colors of the buttons. And I just want to see what you thought here. So that's the first one I made.
Very cool. So it says Drew So IC, which
that's
is
my gamer tag.
Your gamer tag. That's right.
My gamer tag.
Yes.
And then, so that's the first one I made. I'm a big fan of the color orange.
Yeah, that feels good.
Feels good. Well, it feels exactly the same as any other one. But I mean, visually though, this is not a controller you can buy in a store.
Yeah.
And then this is the one I made at E3. It just arrived. So you had to make it and then you had to wait for it to come. So you can open that up and take a look.
Okay, just to
This is a limited edition, as you can see right on front.
Made at E3 2017.
Made at E3 2017.
259 out of just 1,000.
Yes, you can make They had 1,000 people could make one, and then that was it.
Wow.
And
so then can you sell this for more on the aftermarket?
If someone wants my gamer tag on their controller, then yes. So if somebody out there, slide into my DMs and let me know.
So if somebody wants to get a custom Xbox One controller from the Xbox Design Lab, what do they do?
Just go to the Xbox Design Lab online, you search for it, and you log in with your gamer tag, and then it just takes you through each piece. Like, what color do you want your buttons to be? What color do you want your triggers to be? Do you want metallic or do you want, shiny? Do you want rubberized grip or not?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the controller ends up costing roughly $90.
Okay.
So a regular controller is about $60. So for a $30 premium, you can really design it to be exactly how you want it to look. So if you're an Xbox gamer and you want something custom and cool, Xbox Design Lab.
Very cool. All right, last thing on my list, just briefly, the Super Nintendo console, the classic that's going to be coming out.
The mini, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I love this I love the whole retro thing that Nintendo is doing. I love the fact that there's going to be a new game. Right? An entirely new
brand new game that is previously unreleased.
Right.
For Super Nintendo, which is weird and cool.
Yeah.
Star Fox 2.
Right.
Were you a Star Fox fan back in the day?
I played a little bit. Okay. A little bit of Star Fox.
So it was one of your favorite games of that half year then, right?
Half year. Exactly.
No, but I mean, it's cool because this is a game that's, people have been able to kind of download in bits and pieces, but it was never finished. So they were kind of playing this unfinished thing that was never really released. And now if you buy this console, you get one of the 21 games is a game that you've never played before, which is, I think, a really cool kind of, concept. Going back in time.
Yeah. All right. So that is our recap of our favorite gadgets of the year so far in 2017 and a look ahead. So we got a lot to talk about coming up on future episodes of Geared Up. All right. Until next time, I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
We'll talk to you next time.